Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that many of us are already dead? No, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. We walk, we breathe, we exist, but we do not truly live. We bury our dreams under fear. We silence our voices to please others. We wait for the right time to chase our happiness, only to realize too late that time waits for no one. But let me ask you this, if today were your last day, would you be proud of how you lived? Or would you be filled with regret about the moments you let slip away, the dreams you never pursued, and the love you never expressed? Because the truth is, we don't die when our hearts stop beating, we die the moment we stop truly living. And the biggest tragedy is not death itself, but dying while you are still alive. So today, I want to remind you, don't die before your death. Life is not just about existing, it is about truly living every single moment. Yet so many people confuse survival with living. They go through their daily routines, wake up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, and repeat. They follow a pattern society has set for them without ever questioning if this is what they truly want. They stay within their comfort zones because it is safe, predictable, and familiar. But is that really life? Is breathing enough to say that we are alive? To truly live means to embrace every experience, every joy, and even every pain. It means waking up with a sense of purpose, knowing that each day is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to love. It means breaking free from the autopilot mode and taking control of your own narrative. Many people go through life thinking they have all the time in the world. They keep postponing their dreams, waiting for the perfect time. They convince themselves that one day they will travel, one day they will start that business, one day they will tell someone how they feel. But days turn into months, months into years, and before they know it, they look back and realize that one day never came. The harsh reality is that time does not wait for anyone. Every second that passes is a second we will never get back. Yet we waste so much of our lives worrying about things that do not truly matter. We obsess over what people think, we fear failure so much that we do not even try it, and we allow negativity to hold us back. But in doing so, we rob ourselves of the beauty of life. Imagine looking back at your life and realizing that you never truly lived, that you never allowed yourself to experience the things that set your soul on fire. That realization is more painful than any failure, any rejection, or any mistake you could ever make. Living is about being present. It is about appreciating the small moments, the laughter of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your face, the feeling of achieving something you once thought was impossible. It is about embracing the highs and the lows, because every experience shapes us into who we are meant to be. True living requires courage. It demands that we step outside of our comfort zones and take risks. It means making mistakes, failing, and getting back up. It means loving deeply, even if it means getting hurt. It means expressing yourself fully without the fear of judgment. So many people live half-heartedly, afraid to fully embrace life because they fear pain, rejection, or failure. But what they do not realize is that avoiding these things also means avoiding growth, joy, and fulfillment. Every person who has ever achieved something great has taken risks. They have failed multiple times before succeeding. They have faced rejection and criticism. But they kept going because they understood that true living is about pushing forward despite the obstacles. Too many people allow fear to dictate their choices. They choose security over passion, comfort over growth, and routine over adventure. They settle for jobs they do not love, relationships that do not fulfill them, and lives that do not excite them. They convince themselves that this is just how life is supposed to be. But deep down, they know they were meant for more. They feel a longing, a restlessness, a desire to break free. But instead of acting on it, they suppress it. They let years go by thinking they have time until one day they realize they don't. There is no guarantee of tomorrow. There is no guarantee that we will have another chance to say the things we want to say, to do the things we want to do, to live the way we have always dreamed of living. The only moment we truly have is right now, and yet so many people waste this moment dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. They replay old mistakes in their heads, punishing themselves over and over again. They worry about things that have not even happened yet, allowing anxiety to steal their joy. But the truth is, the past cannot be changed, and the future is uncertain. The only thing we have control over is this moment. And in this moment, we have a choice to truly live or to simply exist. We have a choice to be present, to be grateful, to be fearless. We have a choice to embrace life fully, to take risks, to pursue our passions, to love without hesitation. Living is about connection. It is about finding meaning in the relationships we build, in the experiences we share, in the moments that take our breath away. It is about doing things that make us feel alive, whether it is traveling to a new place, creating something beautiful, helping someone in need, or simply allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. True living is about authenticity. It is about embracing who you are without trying to fit into someone else's expectations. It is about letting go of the need for approval and allowing yourself to be unapologetically you. When we start living authentically, we attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences into our lives. We begin to understand that happiness does not come from external achievements or material possessions, but from within. It comes from the way we choose to see the world, from the way we choose to respond to challenges, from the way we allow ourselves to feel deeply and love fiercely. But most importantly, living means not waiting for permission to follow our dreams. It means not allowing fear to keep us stagnant. It means not waiting for the right time, because the right time is always now. It means refusing to let life slip away unnoticed. Fear is the invisible chain that holds so many people back from truly living. It is the silent force that whispers doubts into our minds, convincing us that we are not capable, not worthy, not ready. It is the barrier between who we are and who we are meant to be. Fear comes in many forms: the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of change, the fear of the unknown. It disguises itself as logic, as practicality, as a voice of reason. But in reality, it is just an illusion that keeps us trapped in a life that does not fulfill us. People often say they want to live a meaningful life, but when faced with an opportunity to step outside of their comfort zones, they hesitate. They let fear talk them out of taking the leap. They come up with excuses, rationalizing why now is not the right time. They tell themselves they are not skilled enough, not experienced enough, not lucky enough. But the truth is, fear is not real in the way we think it is. It is simply a mental construct, a projection of what could go wrong, rather than what actually will go wrong. And most of the time, the things we fear never even happen. Yet so many people allow fear to dictate their lives. They stay in jobs they do not love because they are afraid of the uncertainty that comes with change. They hold back from expressing their true feelings because they fear rejection. They bury their dreams because they are scared of failure. But what they do not realize is that avoiding fear does not lead to happiness, it leads to regret. It leads to a life filled with what ifs and if onlys. It leads to a life where they watch others achieve their dreams while they remain stuck in the same place, wondering why they never had the courage to try. Fear tricks us into believing that comfort is safety, but comfort is the slowest form of self-destruction. When we stay within our comfort zones, we stop growing, we stop challenging ourselves, we stop evolving into the people we were meant to be. Comfort might feel safe, but it is also the place where dreams go to die. The most successful, the most fulfilled, the most extraordinary people in the world are not those who never felt fear, but those who refused to let fear control them. They took risks, they faced rejection, they experienced failure, but they kept moving forward. They understood that fear is simply a test of how much we truly want something. When we allow fear to lead our decisions, we shrink ourselves. We dim our light to make others comfortable. We lower our expectations to avoid disappointment. We settle for less than what we are capable of because we convince ourselves that aiming higher is too risky. But the reality is, fear will always be there. It will always try to creep in to make us doubt ourselves, to stop us from taking action. The key is not to eliminate fear, but to move forward despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision that something else is more important than fear. There will always be reasons to be afraid. There will always be risks, uncertainties, and challenges. But there will also always be opportunities, rewards, and the possibility of something greater. And the only way to know what is on the other side is to take the step, even when it is terrifying. Growth happens when we challenge ourselves, when we push past our fears, when we do things that scare us. It happens when we stop making excuses and start taking action. Every great achievement in history was once considered impossible until someone dared to believe otherwise. The fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons people never chase their dreams. They are so afraid of failing that they do not even try. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. Every person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has failed multiple times before succeeding. The difference is that they did not let failure define them. They used it as a stepping stone, as a lesson, as fuel to keep going. They understood that failure is not permanent unless you quit. And the truth is, the only real failure in life is the failure to try. Fear of judgment is another invisible prison that holds people back. They worry so much about what others will think of them that they never allow themselves to be fully seen. They conform, they suppress their true selves, they play small because they are afraid of criticism. But no matter what you do in life, people will always have opinions. Some will support you, some will doubt you, some will criticize you for trying. But their opinions do not determine your worth or your potential. The only person who has to believe in you is you. Fear of the unknown is perhaps the greatest fear of all. People crave certainty. They want guarantees. They want to know that things will work out before they even begin. But life does not come with guarantees. Life is unpredictable, uncertain, and ever-changing. And that is what makes it beautiful. If we had all the answers, if we knew exactly how everything would unfold, there would be no excitement, no adventure, no reason to push ourselves beyond our limits. The unknown is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. Because within the unknown lies infinite possibilities, new beginnings, and the potential for something greater than we could ever imagine. Fear will always try to hold you back. It will tell you to wait, to play it safe, to stay where you are. But life is too short to let fear dictate your choices. Time will pass whether you take risks or not. Opportunities will come and go. The question is, will you take them? Or will you look back one day and wish you had? Pain is an inevitable part of life. It comes in different forms: loss, disappointment, betrayal, failure. It is something every person experiences, yet it affects each one differently. Some allow pain to break them, while others use it to build themselves into something greater. Pain is not just suffering, it is a lesson, a teacher, a force that can transform a person if they allow it. But too often, people view pain as something negative, something to avoid, something that signals the end of hope. In reality, pain is the beginning of growth. It is through pain that we discover our true strength, our resilience, our ability to rise above circumstances that once seemed impossible to endure. Many people spend their lives running from pain, trying to numb it, trying to escape it. They distract themselves with work, with entertainment, with anything that keeps them from facing their emotions. But the truth is, the more you run from pain, the more power it has over you. It does not disappear. It simply buries itself deeper, waiting for a moment to resurface. The only way to heal from pain is to confront it, to embrace it, to understand that it is not your enemy, but your greatest opportunity for transformation. Pain reveals who you are at your core. It strips away the illusions and the masks, the pretenses, leaving only the raw truth of who you are and what you are capable of becoming. People often ask, why do bad things happen? Why do we have to go through suffering? Why do we experience loss, heartbreak, setbacks? The answer is not simple, but one thing is clear: pain has a purpose. It teaches us lessons that nothing else can. It forces us to grow in ways we never would if life were always easy. It pushes us to the edge of what we think we can handle, and then it shows us that we are capable of so much more. It makes us appreciate the moments of happiness because we have known what it is like to live without them. It strengthens us in ways that comfort never could. The problem is not pain itself, it is how we respond to it. Some let pain make them bitter, resentful, angry at the world. They hold onto it like a wound that never heals, allowing it to dictate their thoughts, their actions, their future. But pain is not meant to be carried forever. It is meant to be transformed. It is meant to fuel a greater purpose. Some of the strongest, most inspiring people in history are not those who never suffered, but those who turned their suffering into something meaningful. They used their pain as motivation to create change, to help others, to rise above their circumstances. Pain tests a person's character like nothing else. When everything is going well, it is easy to be positive, to be kind, to believe in yourself. But when life becomes difficult, when things do not go as planned, when you experience loss, that is when your true strength is revealed. Do you let yourself be defeated? Or do you use that pain as fuel to push forward? Every challenge, every hardship is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. It is a chance to prove to yourself that you are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond to it. There are people who have lost everything: family, careers, health, yet they refuse to give up. They refuse to let pain break them. They take their suffering and turn it into a story of triumph. They understand that pain is temporary, that no matter how dark the moment seems, there is always a way forward. They do not wait for life to become easier, they become stronger. They do not wait for circumstances to change, they change their mindset, their perspective, their approach. That is what separates those who merely survive from those who truly live. Pain also teaches us the importance of empathy. When a person has never experienced struggle, they cannot fully understand the suffering of others. But those who have walked through darkness, who have known what it feels like to be broken, are often the ones who extend the most kindness. They do not judge easily because they know what it means to fight battles that no one else can see. They become the ones who uplift, who inspire, who remind others that even the worst pain can be turned into something beautiful. So often, people see pain as a sign that they are weak, that they are failing, that they are alone in their suffering. But pain does not mean you are weak. It means you are alive. It means you are human. It means you are capable of feeling deeply, of experiencing the full spectrum of what it means to exist. And within that pain, there is always an opportunity to grow, to heal, to rise above what once seemed impossible. There will always be moments in life that test you. There will be times when everything feels like it is falling apart, when you do not see a way forward, when the weight of your struggles feels too heavy to carry. But in those moments, you have a choice. You can let pain break you, or you can let it build you. You can allow it to keep you stuck, or you can use it as the fuel that pushes you forward. Because at the end of the day, pain is not what destroys people, it is the belief that they cannot overcome it. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that shape human behavior. It dictates decisions, limits possibilities, and keeps people from stepping outside of their comfort zones. Fear whispers doubts, plants insecurities, and convinces people that they are not capable of achieving their dreams. It creates imaginary barriers, making the unknown seem more dangerous than it actually is. Fear has the ability to paralyze, to hold people hostage in a reality that feels safe but is actually preventing them from truly living. The irony is that fear itself is not real, it exists only in the mind. It is a projection of worst-case scenarios, a collection of thoughts based on past experiences or imagined failures. And yet, it has the power to dictate a person's entire life if they allow it to. People fear many things: failure, rejection, pain, change, the opinions of others. They hesitate to take risks, to try something new, to chase their dreams because they are afraid of what might go wrong. But what they often fail to consider is this: what if everything goes right? What if stepping into the unknown is exactly what leads to the life they have always wanted? Fear convinces people to focus on everything that could go wrong while completely ignoring all the possibilities of what could go right. It keeps them stuck in routines and mediocrity in situations that do not bring them joy. It convinces them that playing it safe is the best option when in reality, playing it safe often means missing out on the best parts of life. One of the biggest fears people face is the fear of failure. Society has conditioned people to believe that failing is something shameful, something to be avoided at all costs. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is a necessary part of it. Every successful person in history has faced failure, rejection, setbacks. The difference is that they did not allow those failures to define them. Instead, they used them as stepping stones, as lessons, as motivation to keep going. The most successful people are not the ones who never failed, they are the ones who failed the most but refused to give up. They understood that failure is not the end of the road, it is simply a redirection towards something better. Another fear that holds people back is the fear of judgment. They worry about what others will think, about being criticized, about standing out too much. They seek validation, approval, a sense of acceptance from the world around them. But the truth is, no matter what you do, people will always have opinions. There will always be those who criticize, who doubt, who question your choices. If you live your life trying to please everyone, you will never truly be free. You will never make bold decisions, never take risks, never follow your heart, because you will always be looking over your shoulder, wondering if others approve. The reality is, people who judge the most are often the ones who are too afraid to take risks themselves. They project their own fears onto others because they do not have the courage to face their own. Fear also manifests in the form of self-doubt. It tells people they are not good enough, not talented enough, not smart enough to achieve their dreams. It convinces them that success is for other people, stronger people, more capable people. But self-doubt is nothing more than a collection of limiting beliefs. It is the mind playing tricks, feeding into insecurities, making people believe that they are less than they actually are. The only way to break free from self-doubt is to challenge it, to prove it wrong by taking action. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is something they build through experience. The more they push past fear, the more they realize that most of the limitations they once believed in were never real in the first place. One of the greatest tragedies in life is watching people hold back their potential because they are afraid. They have dreams, ideas, talents, but they keep them hidden, afraid of failure, afraid of what others might say, afraid that they are not capable. They wait for the perfect moment, for the right circumstances, for the fear to disappear before they take action. But fear never truly disappears. It will always be there, whispering doubts, trying to keep people in their comfort zones. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that successful people take action despite fear. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then move forward anyway. Fear has a way of distorting reality. It makes problems seem bigger than they are, obstacles seem impossible to overcome, and challenges seem insurmountable. But most of the things people fear never actually happen. The mind creates worst-case scenarios, but in reality, things are rarely as bad as they seem. And even when challenges do arise, people are far more capable of handling them than they realize. The key is to stop giving fear so much power, to stop letting it control decisions, to stop allowing it to dictate what is possible. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Everything a person wants, their dreams, their goals, their best life is on the other side of fear. The moment they decide to stop letting fear control them, their entire life changes. They start taking risks, making bold moves, stepping into opportunities that once seemed impossible. They stop waiting for the right moment and start creating it. They stop hesitating and start believing in themselves. And once they do, they realize that fear was never as powerful as it seemed. It was only as strong as they allowed it to be. Pain is an inevitable part of life. No one is exempt from it. No one can escape it, and no one can predict when it will come. It arrives unannounced, in different forms and at different times, leaving behind wounds that take time to heal. Pain is often seen as something negative, something to be avoided, something that weakens people. But what if pain is not a punishment, but a teacher? What if it is not meant to break people, but to shape them? Pain has the power to transform, to strengthen, and to reveal the deepest parts of a person's character. It forces people to grow, to evolve, and to find strength they never knew they had. Pain is not the end of the road. It is the path to something greater. There are different kinds of pain: physical pain, emotional pain, the pain of loss, the pain of failure, the pain of disappointment. Each kind carries its own lessons, its own challenges, and its own opportunities for growth. Some pain is momentary, fleeting, gone as quickly as it arrives. Other pain lingers, leaving scars that never fully fade. But even in the deepest suffering, there is something to be learned. Pain strips away the unnecessary, forcing people to focus on what truly matters. It pushes people to their limits, testing their resilience, showing them what they are truly capable of. It forces them to confront their fears, their insecurities, and their weaknesses, turning them into something stronger. People often run from pain. They distract themselves, numb themselves, avoid anything that might cause discomfort. They fear pain because it is uncomfortable, unpredictable, and difficult to endure. But avoiding pain does not make it disappear. It only delays the lessons it has to teach. Running from pain means running from growth. It means staying in situations that no longer serve them, holding on to relationships that drain them, and refusing to face the hard truths that could set them free. The reality is that pain will find people no matter how much they try to avoid it. The question is not whether they will experience pain, but how they will respond to it. Pain is a signal. It is the body's way of telling people something is wrong. It is the heart's way of revealing what matters most. It is life's way of pushing people toward change. When a person touches something hot, their body reacts instantly, pulling away to avoid further injury. Emotional pain works the same way. It reveals what is broken, what needs attention, what cannot be ignored any longer. Instead of seeing pain as something to fear, it should be seen as a guide. It points people in the direction they need to go, even when that direction is difficult. It forces people to look inward, to confront their own truths, to make choices that lead to healing instead of suffering. Some of the most successful people in the world have endured unimaginable pain. They have faced rejection, loss, betrayal, heartbreak, failure, but instead of letting pain defeat them, they used it as fuel. They turned their suffering into motivation, using every painful experience as a stepping stone toward greatness. They understood that pain is not meant to destroy, but to refine. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified through fire. The strongest people are not those who have never suffered, but those who have suffered and chosen to rise. Pain also teaches empathy. It allows people to understand the struggles of others, to connect on a deeper level, to offer compassion in a world that desperately needs it. Those who have never known pain struggle to understand it in others, but those who have walked through fire can recognize the pain in someone else's eyes. They can offer words of comfort, a helping hand, a reminder that no one is truly alone. Pain has a way of breaking people open, softening hearts, and making space for kindness. It turns personal suffering into a source of strength that can be shared with the world. One of the hardest things about pain is the uncertainty it brings. When people are in the middle of suffering, it is difficult to see beyond it. It feels endless, like a storm with no sign of clearing. But just like storms, pain does not last forever. The darkest nights always give way to morning. The heaviest burdens eventually become lighter. The moments that seem impossible to endure become memories of resilience. No matter how deep the pain, healing is always possible. The key is to keep going, to hold on, to trust that there is something on the other side of suffering. Pain reveals true strength. It strips away illusions, forcing people to see themselves as they truly are. It tests character, endurance, and faith. It is easy to be positive when life is good, to be strong when things are easy. But true strength is revealed in struggle. It is built in the moments when giving up seems like the only option, yet a choice is made to keep moving forward. Strength is not the absence of pain, but the ability to rise despite it. People often wonder why they have to go through pain, why life can be so cruel, so unfair, why bad things happen to good people. These questions may never have clear answers, but one thing is certain: pain is never wasted. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every struggle serves a purpose. It shapes people into who they are meant to be. It forces them to grow in ways they never would have otherwise. It opens doors that would have remained closed. It leads to a depth of understanding, a clarity of purpose, a strength that can only be found through struggle. Pain is not the enemy. It is a teacher, a guide, a force that propels people forward. It is proof that they are alive, that they are growing, that they are evolving. It is not meant to define them, but to refine them. Those who embrace pain instead of fearing it will find that on the other side of suffering is something greater than they ever imagined. Hope is the light that guides people through the darkest of times. It is the force that keeps them moving forward when everything seems lost. It is the quiet voice that whispers, "Keep going," even when the world seems to be falling apart. Hope is not just a feeling. It is a choice, a decision to believe in better days, to trust that pain is not permanent, and to hold on to the possibility of change. When life becomes unbearable, hope is the anchor that prevents people from drifting into despair. It is the unseen power that gives strength to those who feel weak, the reason why people stand back up after being knocked down, and the fire that refuses to be extinguished even in the face of overwhelming darkness. Hope is not about denying reality. It is not about pretending that suffering does not exist or that everything is perfect. It is about seeing things as they are but still believing that they can get better. It is about recognizing pain and hardship but refusing to be defined by them. Hope is the ability to look beyond the present moment, to trust that there is something greater ahead, even when all signs point to failure. It is a mindset, a perspective, a way of approaching life with resilience instead of defeat. There are moments when hope feels impossible, when the weight of loss, disappointment, and struggle becomes too much to bear, when dreams seem unreachable and setbacks feel never-ending. It is in these moments that hope is most powerful, because hope is not about having all the answers. It is about taking the next step even when the path is unclear. It is about holding on to the belief that no matter how difficult today is, tomorrow holds new possibilities. Hope does not eliminate pain, but it makes it bearable. It gives people a reason to fight, to persevere, to keep pushing forward, even when the odds are against them. Hope is often misunderstood. People think it is something weak, something passive, something naive. But hope is one of the strongest forces in existence. It has built nations, sparked revolutions, and inspired people to achieve the impossible. Every great achievement in history was driven by hope, the hope for freedom, the hope for a better future, the hope that change is possible. Hope has the power to turn ordinary people into extraordinary forces of nature. It is not passive waiting. It is active believing. It is the willingness to work, to fight, to struggle for something greater. It is the courage to dream in a world that often discourages dreams. People often lose hope because they focus too much on the things they cannot control. They allow fear and doubt to take over, drowning out the voice of possibility. But hope is not found in certainty, it is found in faith. It is the ability to trust even when there are no guarantees. It is about focusing on what can be done instead of what cannot. It is about shifting perspective, about looking for solutions instead of dwelling on problems. It is about understanding that even the smallest step forward is progress. Hope is contagious. When one person believes, it inspires others to believe. It spreads like fire, igniting passion and strength in those who had forgotten their own power. The world needs more hope, more people who refuse to give up, more voices that remind others that they are capable of incredible things. When someone stands up and says, "I believe in a better future," it gives others permission to do the same. It breaks the cycle of despair and replaces it with the possibility of something new. One of the greatest sources of hope is gratitude. When people take the time to appreciate what they have, they begin to see the world differently. Gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what is present. It reminds people that even in hardship, there is still good. Even in darkness, there is still light. Gratitude does not erase struggle, but it provides perspective. It strengthens hope by reminding people of the blessings they already possess. It allows them to see that no matter how hard things may be, there is always something to be thankful for. Hope also requires action. It is not enough to simply wish for a better life. Hope must be followed by effort, by persistence, by the willingness to do what is necessary to create change. Hoping for success without working for it is an illusion. Hoping for happiness without making the necessary changes is wishful thinking. Real hope is paired with action. It is the decision to keep moving forward, to keep striving, to keep believing that every step matters. Hope is not something that only exists in good times. It is in the darkest moments that hope is most needed. It is easy to believe in better days when everything is going well, but true hope is tested in struggle. It is found in the person who keeps fighting despite failure, in the individual who refuses to give up after rejection, in the one who chooses to believe in love even after heartbreak. Hope is what turns pain into purpose. It is what gives meaning to suffering, what transforms loss into growth, what makes even the hardest days worth enduring. There will always be people who try to take away hope, who will say that dreams are unrealistic, that change is impossible, that it is better to accept things as they are. But hope is not about what others believe. It is about what one chooses to believe for themselves. It is the refusal to accept limitations set by others. It is the strength to dream bigger, to reach further, to challenge what seems impossible. Every great achievement started with someone who had the courage to hope for something greater. There is power in hope. It is what keeps people alive, what keeps them moving, what gives them the strength to face each new day. It is what separates those who give up from those who succeed. Hope is the foundation of resilience, the fuel of determination, the driving force behind every meaningful change. It is the belief that even the worst circumstances can be overcome, that even the most painful experiences have a purpose, that even in the face of failure, success is still possible. Hope is not a feeling, it is a choice. It is the decision to keep going when everything seems impossible. It is the courage to believe in something greater, to trust in the unseen, to push forward despite uncertainty. It is the understanding that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always light ahead. Hope is what turns struggles into stories of triumph, what transforms obstacles into stepping stones, what allows people to find meaning in the journey. It is the quiet strength that whispers, "You are not done yet.